Tasting your coffee, the science of coffee flavor. Coffee is unique among artisanal beverages in that the brewer has a considerable impact on the final product's taste. In contrast, beer and wine are purchased as finished items, with the only consumer-controlled variable being the temperature at which they are consumed. But why does coffee made by a barista at a cafe always taste different from coffee made at home from the same beans? It could be their years of training, but it's more likely their ability to apply chemistry and physics principles. Temperature, water chemistry, particle size distribution, water-to-coffee ratio, time, and probably most importantly, green coffee quality, all play important roles in generating a pleasant cup. Are you interested in learning more about the science of coffee flavor? Keep on watching the video to find out how chemistry and physics impact the way that every cup of coffee tastes. And, as always, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. Science and the strength of coffee. Aside from the psychological and contextual factors that contribute to why a barista-prepared cup of coffee tastes so wonderful in the cafe, the brew method itself must be considered. We humans appear to prefer liquids with coffee ingredients at 1.2 to 1.5% by mass, as in filter coffee, as well as drinks with 8 to 10% by mass, as in espresso. Concentrations outside of these ranges are difficult to achieve. There are just a few technologies that can generate concentrations of 8 to 10%, with the espresso machine being the most well-known. However, there are numerous ways to make a drink with 1.2 to 1.5% coffee. Pour-over, Turkish, Arabic, AeroPress, French press, siphon, or batch brew, normal drip apparatus, all create coffee that tastes good at these concentrations. These brewing methods also have an advantage over espresso. They are less expensive. A beverage of this concentration can be made using an espresso machine. The Americano, which is simply an espresso shot diluted with water to the concentration of filter coffee. Water quality and coffee. As a coffee enthusiast, you're probably aware that coffee beans contain hundreds of distinct compounds. The precise composition, on the other hand, is determined by the type of bean, where it is grown, and how it is roasted. According to a study conducted by experts at the University of Bath, water composition is critical in guaranteeing the proper quantities of starches, bases, sugars, and acids extracted from coffee bean roasts. The level to which the water extracts the chemicals from the ground beans determines the flavor of a cup of coffee, a process that is heavily influenced by the grinding process, temperatures, roast profile, brew time, and pressure. As a result, in order to prepare a flawless cup of coffee, you must use high-quality water. Hard water, or water containing salt ions, is typically negative for coffee, but the sort of hardness is important. It is worth noting that no single type of water will consistently generate flavoursome extractions of all roasted coffee. This explains why the flavour of your cup of coffee may vary greatly, even when brewed under almost similar conditions. Using various filtration processes and managing moderately hard tap water yields the finest coffee brewing results. You must learn the balance of the crucial variables that can make or break a beautiful cup of frappe, long black or latte. Whether you are a hardcore coffee user whose days cannot begin without a cup of coffee, or simply need to master the art of preparing the ideal cup. Other scientific variables involved with coffee. Even if you perfect your brewing method and equipment to precisely imitate your favorite barista, your home brew will almost certainly taste different from the cafes. Water chemistry, particle size distribution produced by the grinder, and coffee freshness are three details that have a significant impact on coffee quality. First, consider water chemistry. Because coffee is an acidic beverage, the acidity of your brew water can have a significant effect. Soft water contains low quantities of both calcium ions and bicarbonate, HCO3, resulting in a very acidic cup that is frequently described as sour. Brewing water with high amounts of HCO3, often hard water, will yield a chalky cup, since the bicarbonate has neutralized the majority of the flavoursome acids in the coffee. Ideally, we'd like to brew coffee with water that has some chemistry in it, somewhere in the middle. But there's a strong possibility you don't know how much bicarbonate is in your tap water, and a minor tweak can make a significant effect. To feel the difference, try brewing a coffee with Evian, which has one of the highest bicarbonate concentrations of any bottled water, at 360 milligrams per litre. As we mentioned earlier, the particle size distribution produced by your grinder is also critical. Every coffee connoisseur will tell you that blade grinders are not recommended since they produce an apparently random particle size distribution. Powder and basically whole coffee beans can coexist. A burr grinder, on the other hand, is made up of two pieces of metal with teeth that chop the coffee into progressively smaller bits. They only enable ground particulates to pass through an aperture if they are small enough. However, there is disagreement over how to optimize grind settings when using a burr grinder. One school of thought believes that grinding the coffee as finely as possible increases surface area, allowing you to extract the most delectable flavors in higher quantities. The opposing school recommends grinding as coarsely as possible to reduce the creation of fine particles that give an unpleasant taste. The best tip here is to figure out what you like best based on your taste preferences. Finally, the quality of the coffee itself is critical. Roasted coffee has a considerable amount of CO2 and other volatiles trapped inside the solid coffee matrix. These gaseous organic molecules will exit the bean over time. A cup of coffee with fewer volatiles will be less delicious. Most cafes will not serve coffee that is more than 4 weeks old, highlighting the significance of utilizing freshly roasted beans. If you're a coffee drinker, which most of us are, your day definitely won't begin until you have that first delicious cup of sweet-smelling morning coffee. And now you've learned that the mineral makeup of the water used, the quality of coffee beans, and the technique by which the cup is created all have an impact on the taste of your coffee. Were you aware that science had such a big impact on coffee? Let us know what you think about this video in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe so that you never miss another video from us.